cycle here once again. So yeah, we gonna do two trailer reactions, and this one is to Dune Part Three. Yes, Dune Part Three. Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part Three, and gonna be released December the 18th of this year. We got wind of this movie going in, and this is pretty much taking place 17 years after the events of the two-part book of Part One and Part Two, and of course it's also directed by Denis Villeneuve and also written by Villeneuve and Brian K. Vaughan. And of course, this is based on the novel Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert, and of course delivers the epic conclusion to the trilogy. Of course, you got Duncan Idaho, played by Jason Momoa, returns back in here. Of course, you got Florence Pugh, Rebecca Ferguson, Anya Taylor-Joy, Robert Pattinson. Got some people in here. You got Charlotte Rampling, Javier Bardem, of course, one of the main leaders of the Freeman family, and of course, Shawnee, played by Zendaya, also a part of the Freeman family. So this is also the event. So you got some new villains. Of course, you got the war and tribe between families. And there goes Shawnee, of course, Zendaya's character, as she is going over, talking about their love life. Her and Paul, they're talking about their life. Pretty much in this is the world in between of what's going on between them and this other planet in the Iraqis. Then of course you see it's an all-out war in the families, because if you missed the events of Part Two, as the Freeman family are wiping out and taking down the Harnican family, that was ran by Fade, Austin Butler, and the rest of his father and his other brother, played by Dave Bautista, and his family in the last film. And here they're pretty much, again, like I said, taking place events after that Fringe. So it's pretty much an all-out war. I think that's either him or whomever. That's the ring. I guess it's a ring or something that's more of like a symbolism and an ode of his grandmother, and of course, his older relatives and his family. He also begs the question. This is the rest of the tribe and the crew that Paul is feeding upon. And then I love the music and the themes in here, because it really is tackling a lot of what's going on with the events, because a lot of people are kind of mad at about Paul Atreides, and how he pretty much is betrayed the oath of his father's name and and identity, because going out into this all-out war and everything. I feel like he's created a lot of enemies more than he's created anybody that's turned against him. Then of course you end up seeing as they're like going through their chants and going through their little rituals, going through their little chants and stuff. You end up seeing all a bunch of explosions, kind of just all out infringements go around in this other place in the Iraqis. I thought that was pretty intriguing and pretty interesting to me. I'll skip over a few parts. Then of course these are some new villains or world leaders. One of them, Skytail, played by Robert Pattinson, and his family's gonna come into the picture later on. There goes Florence Pugh. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's Skytail, Robert Pattinson. This is one of the new members. He kind of looks a little bit similar to what Christopher Walken's character in the last film. The way he kind of look in the appearance, I kind of figured that when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, this feels like something familiar with the look. I thought it was pretty intriguing. Then of course you got pretty much the chanting going on. Then you got the people just standing in non-solidarity and in just a row and just in unity. I think that's probably either the on one side, I believe that's like the Freeman, the crew. Then I feel like it's gonna be the other side is gonna be these other people that they're going against. I believe that's I think that's Javier. I think that's either Javier Bardem or I can't remember who that person is. But once the movie comes out, I think they're gonna show more of that. Then here goes the conversation that Paul is having with his mother, and it pretty much is asking, what would father be? What he said, he's asking, what would his father be like? What would his father be doing right now in this all out infringement? He said, and she basically um, his mother responded where he says, "Your father never started a war." It's probably one of the favorite lines in the whole entire film. And then of course everybody is standing in pack. Of course everybody is standing in pack, waiting for Paul Atreides to pretty much address a lot of things. Herc 804, Herc 804. Hey, what's going on? Just doing a couple of trailer reactions. Hey, what's going on? I'm all right. How about you? How's it going with you? Then of course everybody's all in the battle at all a standstill. They go Anya Taylor-Joy. Goes there goes Duncan Idaho. His return. Jason Momoa. Duncan Idaho. His character returns. Then Duncan ends up fighting. I can't remember who that person is. I don't know who's in that shot. He's going to battle with. There goes Skytail, gathering around his troops. There goes Shawnee. Then there goes a big, massive explosion that happens. And pretty much after that, you see Paul Atreides. He's pretty much going at the big podium in the Iraqis, and he pretty much is gonna give his spiel, give his speech, and then pretty much here it goes, his stand still, stand fall. Then he talks about his character. If he feels like he don't want to die, does not must die in here. Then there goes Shawnee, and then there goes the end of that. So yeah, man. My thoughts pretty much is, man. My thoughts are just simple. I think this may have a shot of being one of the best, not only in the franchise, but it has a chance to be, without a shadow of a doubt, a modern classic trilogy all the way around. I mean, it's a lot of bigger scales, it's bigger scopes. They spent so much money in the budgeting from part 2, where I feel like part 3 is going to continue on into knowing more so about Skytail, his people, knowing about the other families that the Atreides family pretty much is pissed off, pretty much are not really fawning over. Because a lot of the tribes, a lot of the families respected the Harkonnens. People feel like Paul is pretty much desecrated, like the image of it and everything. So I don't know. I haven't really read part 3 of. I haven't really read part 2 of the book, and I really didn't read that part of the book, so I really don't necessarily know off the top of my head. But from what I know, and from what I read, from what I've seen, and I haven't even really watched the Dune Messiah show, so I don't really know exactly if this is kind of taking place in similar fashion as that. Probably not. But anyways, I think this trailer was really, really dope. Like I said, it's bigger scales, bigger scope. It's a lot more things to do as far as the look of the planet and spice, and looking up the area in the Iraqis. It's like it's gonna be a big all-out war. Lots of bloodshed, massive explosions. It's gonna be a bunch of all-out warfare back and forth. You can just tell that Denis Villeneuve and the rest of the crew spent so much time. And Hans Zimmer's score is always so epic and grand scale and in so many different ways. So I cannot wait to see what part three is gonna entail, is gonna unfold, because it's gonna be a lot more. There's gonna be a lot of things waiting that it's gonna be. And it might be some big surprise. It's gonna be a couple of, maybe a few surprises. You never know. It may be something that we don't really expect, but it probably has just come just right in the blue and just will swipe us off our feet, man. And it definitely will swipe me off my feet when this comes out on December 18th, man. I can't wait for it. Uh, Definitely will when the time comes, I'll probably get my tickets and get my seating in IMAX, seeing this one when it comes out, because it has so much grand scale and it has so much bigger scope and scales, man. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Dune Part 3. Then what you guys think down in the comment section down below. I'm out. Peace.